Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Erickson TV. Kurt is here with Lauren. Hey Lauren.
Hey everybody.
Hey Lauren, I wanted to dedicate this episode to our Sue Fulkerson, who found this information for us to discuss today. And it's actually very timely because this actually does impact some of our investment clients that have adult children.
Oh yes.
And we've
adult
actually
children want money.
Exactly. We've noticed. Well, one thing that's changed in the last few years is that with the economy turning sour,
right?
There's more adults, of course, that are unemployed.
Yes.
There are more adults that are struggling to make their mortgage payments, or maybe they've lost their house
yes.
even.
That's correct.
And up until a few years ago, when the economy was roaring and the housing prices were going up in that huge bubble, period of time, it was very easy for adults to refinance and take out lines of credits and finance their lavish lifestyles with money from their homes, and so that's a big change.
Yes.
There's some interesting statistics, and I didn't want this episode to come across as a lecture to our own clients, but hopefully you can get some maybe some courage and some a different way of looking at it when your kids, adult kids is what we're talking about, are coming to you asking for financial help. And here's some interesting statistics. In the August issue, Harper's Magazine estimated that a stunning 85% of this year's college graduates are planning to head back to live with mom and dad for at least for a while. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And a study done by Columbia University researchers found that 52.8% of 18 to 24-year-olds are living at home, compared to 47% back in 1970. So that's one issue. But now we're seeing that some of our clients that are far along in retirement are being approached by their even more older kids, adult kids, because they're having financial difficulty. And I guess what I wanted to ask you, Lauren, is because what I've seen is that parents feel obligated. I have a child that's not an adult yet, so I want to do what I can to help him. But at a certain point, I want him to learn how to be independent.
Right.
So one of the things I've seen is that when the adult child requests money, what happens is that my client will take money out in pretty significant sums of money sometimes, that can have a devastating impact on their portfolio. What are you seeing for reasonable rates of withdrawal rates, based on just sort of conventional rules of thumb?
Yeah, see, I think one of the things that happens is that people look at the lump sum that somebody has and they think, oh, somebody has a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Like somebody has $400,000 or $500,000, and that seems like, oh, they've got a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But when you translate that money into a lifelong income stream, sometimes it's not such a large amount of money. I mean, especially if you're at the beginning of retirement, like let's say you're 65 and you're just now retired, if you're withdrawing 3% of your portfolio, so if you had $500,000 in your portfolio and you were withdrawing $15,000, that'll be safe. You're not going to run out of money. And even if you up that by the rate of inflation every year, so maybe next year you withdraw $16,000 or something, that'll be okay. You're going to be fine. 4% normally works too. You're probably okay. When you move up to like 5%, you're starting to take the risk that you may run out of money, or a lot of people don't increase their withdrawals by the rate of inflation every year. Sometimes people withdraw the same amount of money for a long time. Yeah, because their real expenses go down and inflation goes up, so it kind of evens out. But you start getting higher than 5%, and unless you're very late into retirement, you're starting to take a real risk that you're going to run out of money. I mean, maybe if you're 90, you can withdraw 6 or 7% and you'll be fine. Right. But if you're 65 and you want to withdraw 6 or 7% of your portfolio per year, this is going to be this is a potential problem. Right. You're taking a real risk that you're going to run out of money.
Well, so related to that example, what we're seeing is a client that might have $400,000, that have been taken out, let's say 3 or 4%, maybe even 5% per year. But then their kids come up, adult kids, and say, I need a loan for $25,000 or $30,000 because something happened, or I need to invest in the business. What they're saying in this article is that they call it a loan, but really that's disguised gift in a sense.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, is the loan actually going to get paid back? And if it's not, then one of the problems is that your kids can come to you now and they the money you have is in some sense available if they need it. But then, if you take out too much, you may need money down the road. But it's not, the reverse may not be true. I mean, the money is not necessarily going to be available to you when you need to ask them for it. So, and the whole thing about giving loans to a family member can be pretty tough. Because, you know, one of the many things that I hope people will think about is the sort of family trouble that can cause when you
because there might be other siblings
yes.
that feel like that it's not fair.
Yes, exactly.
There might be a situation where it's just uncomfortable at future get-togethers because
right.
there's this obligation now sitting there.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, that's actually a great point. And the other thing they said in this article was that other financial planners have talked to their kids and said, well, here's the deal. If we give you the money now, that's putting me, the parent, at risk that I'm going to have to go live with you 10 or 15 years down the road because I'm not going to have
right.
any money left, and I'm going to, you know, when my health is going bad.
Right.
And so I think there's a fine balance here with if it's something that's just in dire straits and dire consequences, that's one thing.
Right.
But I think it's worth investigating a little bit more about if they've used all their available resources to get
right,
that
yeah,
money.
Exactly.
To the end of this episode, this one person, Tom Sidoric, came up with this term. He you know, we've heard of yuppies and different things like that. He's come up with a term that's called the phenomena called kippers. It's an acronym that stands for kids invading parental pockets and eroding retirement savings. That was a good one.
Yes.
Again, this purpose of this episode is not to make any parent feel guilty or bad. It's just to kind of think long term.
Right.
And make sure if your kid does ask you for money to really make sure that they've thought it out. You know, and we can work with you on this part of it for what's the ramifications to your long-term retirement, and also that your kids are maximizing all opportunities to look at all sources. So thanks again, Lauren, for contributing to this, and we'll see you next time on Erickson TV. Bye now.
See you next time.